Gaslighting is something every narcissist does. It's a key tool for them in their manipulation and control over you. In this video, I want to talk about exactly what gaslighting is and what it does to victims of narcissistic abuse, why this is beneficial for the narcissist. I will go over some examples of gaslighting by a narc, and most importantly, how you can counteract gaslighting when it's happening to you. Gaslighting is done to some victims in abusive relationships, and typically it's done in a very subtle, slow way over time that starts to make you question yourself. You lose that trust you have innately in yourself and begin to wonder what reality is because you lose your grip on what's real, what's true, and what isn't. Someone highly narcissistic needs you to believe their narrative, their fantasies, their stories, theirs and nobody else's. Narcissists attempt to isolate you and begin trying to feed you their false narrative while convincing you that the truth and everything that you know for a fact is now all a lie. The benefits for the narcissist when you are successfully gaslighted are really plentiful. Naturally, if you do believe them and only them, all they're going to do is excessively lie to you. And as you're gaslighted and brainwashed, you'll believe everything they say. Even if you don't entirely believe what the narcissist is trying to feed you, you are abused in other ways that will either guilt you, scare you, or force you into silence where you still don't believe it, but there's nothing else you can do. You're walking on eggshells, you fear some kind of lash out, some kind of rage, and you just stop bringing up their behavior anyway. So ultimately, the narc gets what they want. Either you believe them or don't, but they still get their way in the end. Severe gaslighting causes victims to become incredibly confused about everything. You're stressed, disoriented, and so on, but also you become extremely weak. And this makes you easier to control, maneuver, manage, manipulate, really however you want to say it. You lose faith in yourself, you question yourself, and now you're desperate to get answers. But when you're truly isolated, as most narcissists want you to be, they push you away from friends, family, and so on. Where do you turn? Well, to the only person who now you think you can trust. The only person, your partner. This is the only person you think you can trust. Just the narcissist. And when gaslighting is done perfectly in correlation with isolation, as this is the only person you can look to for guidance, clarification, and anything else, it's literally the worst person in the world to go to. But now it's all you have. Gaslighting can make you feel as if you're losing your sanity. It can make you act and behave like a different person. Some victims do suffer complete nervous breakdowns, mental breakdowns, and can actually be driven to the brink of insanity and beyond, to the point where hospitalization and a lot of mental health help is needed. We all lose ourselves. We become completely under control of the narcissist. And now we're just an extension of who they are. We stop being who we used to be. We're just a shell of a person. Now we completely work for the narcissist. And this works exceptionally well for the narcissist, or they wouldn't do it. So I want to go over some of those really subtle signs of gaslighting. They might not seem to mean anything at the time, but just like a lot of things with narcissists, especially the covert narcissist, some of these things are uttered simply to plant a seed of doubt in the back of your mind that gets super out of control as time goes on. If you would like to talk one-on-one about a narcissistic relationship that you're in right now, or maybe you are still working on getting over a relationship like this, you can email bookachatwithjess@gmail.com to set up private chats and coaching with me if you feel you need it. So here are some of the most popular gaslighting phrases that a narcissist can tell you. Number 1, you're crazy or you need help. This is said a lot, and in the moment, it's done to discredit you and whatever you're talking about, just telling you, oh, you're crazy. Maybe there's something wrong with you, and you begin to slowly doubt yourself. Why do they always say that I'm crazy, that I'm mental? And then all of a sudden it's, maybe there is something wrong with me, and you'll see that increase as this is said to you over time. Number 2, you're jealous or you're insecure, something to the effect of, and that's not my problem. You have the jealous issue. You have the insecurity issue. Curious thing about narcs, they all want to make us jealous and then ask us why we're jealous and tell us to get over it. When you're in a relationship, your partner shouldn't be acting in ways that prompt you to be jealous. However, sometimes we are just a jealous person and we have little reason to be. Nonetheless, somebody calling you jealous and insecure makes you stop and take a look at yourself, not the narcissist. You now wonder, wonder, instead of is their behavior correct or not, which it isn't, but you wonder now about yourself. Are you overreacting? Do you have the problem? And again, now you're questioning yourself and second guessing what reality actually is. Number 3. That's not what you heard. That's not what I said. That's not what you saw. Nothing like that happened. The good old denial. It's a really good gimmick that a lot of narcs like to use. These phrases are super good for pushing gaslighting into full effect. This is again now a you issue. You didn't see what you thought you saw. You didn't hear what you think you heard. It's all just a big misunderstanding. You don't get it, so on and so forth. This really begins to make you feel crazy. What if you're not hearing things correctly? What if you're hearing something else? Maybe this person is just stressing you out. Maybe you're just seeing what you want to see. You're making something out of nothing. And again, the reality of what the situation is now being questioned. Number 4, it was just a joke. This one is a double whammy because it's said in conjunction with some kind of insult. And when it hurts you, it's obviously some devaluing. But then on top of that, now you start to be told things like, it's too sensitive. You just can't take a joke. Lighten up a little bit. Why are you always so serious? Things like that. But remember, there's always a little bit of truth in kidding. These jokes now cause double insecurity as you've been mocked or teased and then told you're too sensitive about it. Then you're lied to and told it was just a joke when it really didn't feel like one. And this causes mountains of crazy making and confusion. So those are just some of the most popular ones that narcs love to tell you to try to gaslight you. There are so many more that are super tailored to everybody's unique individual situation. But is there anything that you can do about gaslighting? Yes, of course there is. Everything that a narc does to us, we can counteract it in some way to make it a little less difficult on us. You can do some of these things to deter gaslighting. Let's talk about them. One of the most important things that you can do is look for phrases that I just talked about and other things that seem to make you doubt yourself. When you're speaking to somebody, someone who you feel is toxic, look for some of these things. Are they trying to convince you that something is wrong with you? Are they telling you you're crazy? You need help. There's some kind of issue with you. I don't know why you're so sensitive. I don't know why you're so serious all the time. It's not a big deal. While it might not be full-blown gaslighting where they're trying to make you insane, it's definitely something to just be aware of. And if you can identify that this kind of stuff is happening, then you have to come in with no self-doubt. Of course, easier said than done, but you can't let yourself be weakened by all this. You have to know who you are. No, you are not a person who sees things that aren't there or hears things incorrectly. You know what you saw, you know what you heard, and you're not going to let this go. You want an explanation for the situation. A great way to combat gaslighting is ever and always going to be proof. If you are being told that you're seeing things that aren't there, well, take notes. Wonderful things exist nowadays, like screenshots of texting conversations, voice recordings. This is where I have to be a lawyer and say you can't record everybody in some states, but I'm throwing it out there. Taking notes, for example, can really help you have something to go and look back to and kind of fact check. But you can always ask the narcissist to repeat themselves as well. You can say something along the lines of, okay, I just want to double check that you said you're going to be home at 7. I'm going to go ahead and write that down so I don't forget. So 7 o'clock, right? And all you're doing is asking for verification. You're letting them know, hey, I'm going to double check this. I'm going to write this down. It also lets the narc know that you take notes. You're double checking things. And so they might not want to try to cause confusion later because you're clearly on top of your shit and know that something might go wrong. And now you have a little cheat sheet to help you out. If this is happening over text, again, screenshots are amazing. You don't have to recall anything. You take a screenshot, you send it, and there is no more denying it. You have to also do things that keep you very grounded in reality, working on yourself and your self-esteem. Don't allow yourself to be isolated. Get facts before you just blindly believe what somebody narcissistic and toxic tells you. If someone's trying to push you away from all your friends, start issues between you and your friends, you and your family. This needs to be looked at 2, 3, probably a dozen times. Why are they trying to do this to you? Why does it seem like they have a problem with everybody around you? We can stop this before it starts by not allowing ourselves to become super isolated. If you are in the middle of a fight or an argument and things are being thrown at you, you're being gaslighted, you are being devalued, it causes confusion right there in the moment. Always remember too, you can walk away. You can also call the narcissist out. I think you're telling me things that aren't true. I think I'm getting confused. I'm going to walk away. We'll have to talk about this later. Now, whether you do or not is another story. Chances are, if they're truly narky, you'll never have that conversation, or you'll have it 1,000 times and you'll never get a fucking resolution to it. But don't forget, you can always walk away. There's no point in going round and round with somebody who never wants to find a solution or resolution to the issue anyway. They just want to reserve the right to bitch and cry and whine and moan about it. So you can walk away and take notes on what happened. You can voice record yourself in the aftermath and talk about what you know happened because it's very fresh in your mind. Proof, and more proof. That's the best way around all of this gaslighting. It works, but I just want to also stress this too. If you are in a situation where you know for a fact this is happening to you, you know you've been love bombed, you know you're getting devalued, you are being picked and pulled apart, and all this kind of stuff is going on around you, like I say, it is now past time to start thinking about ending things and leaving. This is incredibly sinister behavior. It can break you mentally, and you don't deserve this kind of treatment from somebody who is supposed to be your partner, who is supposed to be there for you when you need them. Remember, it's not always about giving everything to these people. We're in a relationship because there's give and take. And when this kind of stuff is happening, like I say, it is way past time for you to think about leaving. Toxic people will forever and always need to be walked away from, and that's just the way that goes. So if you have any other tips on how to fight off gaslighting, you can leave them down in the comments. Thank you so much for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't. Have a great day, survivor, and take care of yourself.